And so I tried to convince Harold to expand this, and he said, "Oh, what? That's rock and roll." He hated it. His favorite band was the Bob Crosby Bobcats from 1937. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is now 20 years later, and he's still listening to it. He thinks that's jazz. Everything else after that was not jazz, and blues is rock and roll and horrible. I tried to convince Harold to do more of these events, but he wouldn't go along. And I then found out that in Windmill Street, you know where the Windmill Theatre was? Across
Soho.
in Soho, there was a club that was kind of dead. It had been a big club during the Trent thing. It was the Saiori Piccadilly Jazz Club. And I got it for like £5 or something, ridiculous amount. I remember the owner drank what appeared to be milk, but in fact he had cognac in it. And the club was dead, it was closed. Saiori disappeared, went off to the Pole or something, and then the whole thing finished. The Saiori Piccadilly Club was the hottest ticket in London on Saturdays for a long time. Probably because they were smoking pot in there, or hashish rather, because nobody smoked pot anymore. There was no pot in there, it was hashish. And you mix it with tobacco. You know?
What did you do in this place?
And I said, okay, let's start a blues club here. No, now there was like 4 or 5 bands in London at the time. 4 bands: the Blues by Six, the Stones, Cyril Davis, Alexis Corner and Cyril Davis. There was kind of the admiralty ship of this kind of thing. And another band, I can't remember, that came from a bunch of musicians who were playing with Lord, what was the name?
Screaming Lord Sutch?
Not Screaming Lord Sutch. No, yes, Screaming Lord Sutch. Yeah, I think it's Screaming Lord Sutch. I gotta find out the names of the early bands. And somehow or other, the rock and roll, you know, in other words, the electric guitar, the amplifiers, all of this kind of like had an influence. And I wanted to do a show with all of the blues bands in London. And I did that in the Piccadilly Jazz Club. And because I thought, well, union, you know, united, we can, you know. And Harold got very upset because he thought that I went in front of the marquee on the Thursday and distributed the flyers for the show.
Yes.
But I didn't do that. He says this in the interview that Giorgio had done. You know, come on, Giorgio, you're my friend. And he didn't want to know about expanding the blues thing. He didn't want to know, and I wanted to know so desperately. You know. But what I did, I told my friends to come and stand in line outside this place, and that was also kind of like in the winter. It was cold. To look like there was a line going to the club, you know. So people that walked up and down the pavement there, it says, "Oh, what are you standing in line for?" You know? And they were trained to say, "Oh, it's great music, you know, rhythm and blues, oh, fantastic." So they would stand in line. There was nobody inside,
Right.
alone. So we did that.
Was there a name for that show? Was it called the Blues Festival? Or?
And I don't know. No, I have an advert. Somebody sent me the advert. I put the Merrill Maker, you know, a little advert, you know, that for the first time, you know, London Blues Festival, whatever it was called. It's just one night. You know, and we had like, I don't know, 60, 70 people, something like that. Which is a lot more than, you know, than you'd had at the Marquee, which is 40 people. Anyway, because I put all the bands together.
What bands played that show?
What fans came to the show? What bands? The Stones, Alexis Corner, Blues Incorporated, you know, the Blues by Six, which had Nicky Hopkins playing piano, you know, early Nicky Hopkins, and another band.
Cyril Davis?
No, Cyril Davis and Alexis Corner, they were one band. Yeah. They were the locomotive band at the time, you know. I think Harold got very upset that they were playing there on a Saturday night, whereas they were playing in the Marquee on the Thursday, you know. But Alexis was so broke, Alexis was always in trouble money-wise, always in trouble. They had 5 kids and this, that, and so I said, well, you know, Harold, you know, we got to spend some more gigs, you know, you can't be, and he didn't want to know, so I did this, and then I went to Richmond.